Welcome to our project presentation for the course CSE 564 Data Visualization. Our project is about decoding the US presidential elections for the year 2016. It was a very interesting elections in the US history, and that is why we have selected this as a topic for building our data analytics dashboard. Aimed at analyzing the 2016 presidential elections results at a county level in the United States, this project examines how wage levels and the county types relate to the election outcomes. The map that we have shown towards the center is the outcome of the map that we have built on our dashboard. The numbers to the right and left of the map represent the total number of states, counties, and votes each candidate got. And from the map, it is evident that Donald Trump, representing the Republicans, had won the elections that year. We'll move to the dashboard next to see how we have attained these results. This is the dashboard that we have built. We have 5 visualization charts for this dashboard. The first is the choropleth map, the second is the pie chart, third is the bar chart, fourth is the histogram, and fifth is the radar plot. Below the map, we have shown the legend representing the various colors on the map, moving from the brightest to the lower opacity colors, representing different margin percentage. By what margin did the party win in that county, in the respective county? Being from 85, greater than 85, between 65 to 85, between 50 to 65, and lower than 50. The red color represents the Republican and the blue color represents the Democrats. Moving to the map, that is the most interesting part of the data analytics dashboard that we've built. When we hover over various counties, we get to see the data, what county that is, what state is it, and what party did win in that county. So that is represented at the bottom of the dashboard on the left. So as we hover over different places, we can see different data. We have made a brushing. We have tried to include brushing in the dashboard that we've built. So whenever we click on one county, the other plots will be changing with respect to the data for that county. For example, let's click on a county in Pennsylvania. So when we click on a county in Pennsylvania, all the counties of Pennsylvania are visible, and the rest of the map turns to a grayer shade. The brushing that is done is that for each county that we have selected, we represent the data on the pie chart about the Republicans and Democrats won in that state, the types of counties in that state, the average weekly wages in that state, and the radar plot data. This brushing will be explained in detail by my partner, Brijesh Gujar.
Jay explained, we have 5 major parts in our data analytics dashboard. In this case, you can see that the Pennsylvania state has been selected. And the pie chart represents the number of counties in which each party got the majority vote. The bar chart represents the type of counties that are there in the selected area. So there are multiple types of counties that have been defined. This is the data that has been taken by the Fox News county viewership analytics. So you can hover over the bars and you can see the exact number that is represented. So you can see a 5, 4, etc. You can see the average weekly wages of Pennsylvania is somewhere around 700 is the median wage. If you go over to the radar plot, you can see that there are 2 polygons that have been constructed. So the orange polygon represents the average features of the entire country, and the gray will indicate the polygon for the state. So here you can see that the employment has not increased as much as the entire state in the as much as the entire United States in the Pennsylvania. The unemployment rate is somewhere similar, but the percent change in the weekly wages is highly disturbing for the Pennsylvania state. In this manner, we can play around with multiple different states. Like we can go to California, we can see in California, because it's such a IT hub, you can see that the employment change is much larger than the average of the entire country. You can also see that the weekly wages, you'll find a few higher bars in the range of 2100, 2300, which were not there in the Pennsylvania state. And you can also see that the Democrat has done pretty well. You can reload the entire map by pressing on the reload button present on the map. You can also analyze based upon the type of the county. Let's say you want to figure out how did the each party do in big cities. You can just click on the big city, and all the big cities in the selected region, in this case, which was United States, will be selected. You can maybe, let's try something different, graying America. You see that a new color polygon has been drawn on the radar plot. This polygon represents the county, type of county that has been selected. So the blue polygon, that is the graying America in this case, you can see has a higher employment, higher weekly wage, and also a higher unemployment rate in comparison to that of the national average. So this is basic functionality of our entire dashboard. Again, you can reload the types of counties that are selected by the same reload button functionality. But this is just a basic overview of what the dashboard can do. Now let's try and analyze why did Republicans sweep the 2016 elections. If you see on the pie chart in the US, they have almost or more than 5 times the count that the Democrat had in the counties. The reason for this, we believe, and which is supported by our dashboard, is that the way the pre-election debates were happening, Trump was advocating, in his own words, was to make America great again, which really appealed to the traditional Americans in a sense. By traditional Americans, I mean the people that have been living here for a longer period of time, rather than the immigrants which have moved here for work. One example of this would be to select something like a rural middle America county. If you, when I click on this, you can clearly see that the Republican have had almost an entire whitewash here. You see that they have completely swept a Democrat in this type of county. Let's try one more. Let's say aging farmlands. You see that Democrat didn't have a single county where they had a majority over Republican in a aging farmland. So these are the type of counties that you expect more traditional Americans to live in. Now let's consider big cities. In big cities, you expect people to be moving here for work. You might have a wide array of people that are living there. So maybe the Democrats were more catered towards the needs of the entire population, which didn't really work in their favor. Another example of this would be to select urban suburbs. You can see they did pretty well here. And when you compare this, like, this is just hypothetical talk, but this is also supported by the statistical measure of the weekly wage. So if you see in urban suburbs, the weekly wage is around 1,100, where Democrats have done well. But if you see that of the rural middle America, that the bar is completely swept towards the left. So probably in regions which have a lower weekly wage is something that was appealed to the Republican. Now this is based upon the county, but let's have an interesting look at the state-wise. So one of the biggest states in US is the Texas state. And for anyone who is out of the country, if you hear Texas, the first thing that comes to your mind is the cowboys, is the ranches. It's a proper representation of the rural America or the traditional America. And you can see that they did exceedingly well here. You see that they've got almost, I think so, 10 times what Democrats have. And let's again see how they did in the big cities. It is again represented that the Democrats still did better in a state like Texas in the big cities. So wherever you have a more diverse population, probably the Democrats did well. Let's go to a different state. Let's consider, let's say, California. So in California, we know it's a IT hub. We know that, I'll just quickly reload this so you can see the entire California. We know that California is a IT hub. You know that people move here, have moved here for a few decades now. And California is a state that houses a diversity of population. So in this way, you can see that California was, I mean, Republican did pretty well, but if you consider other states, you would consider the state to be a failure for Republican because they had a wide sweep in other states. So you can see that Democrat did pretty well. And again, you can see the weekly wage has shifted towards the 1,000 mark. So anywhere you have a higher weekly wage, you can again see from the radar plot that wherever you have a higher employment and higher weekly wage, the Democrats are doing pretty well. So that's pretty much it about the dashboard. I hope you enjoyed our presentation. Thank you.